up. Oh yeah, it's just so much fun and it's fast. Welcome to Drive Culture. I'm Jonathon Rivers, and today we have the 2024 Acura Integra Type S. And I'm going to go into all the details on the exterior, interior, powertrain, and of course, take it for a drive. So if this is content you're looking for, please be sure to click the bell to subscribe and come back to Drive Culture. And with that, let's get after it. There may be a couple things you'll notice about the styling and design that's a little bit different than stock, but outside of that, there's no performance mods. So let's talk about the exterior and what I did to my own car. It's pretty minor stuff, but basically what I did is all the white surfaces are covered in a satin-like paint protection film, so PPF, and the gloss black accents down below were covered in a clear. I also changed things like the roof and the door handles. I wrapped those in gloss black. And then, yeah, I just went ahead with a few different dealer installed accessories. So we're going to point all that out here. But again, let us know what you just think about the styling of this car in general. Obviously, I'm a fan because this car just looks great. I mean, it's very, very aggressive up front. Quite a significant departure from the Integra A-Spec, which is already a good looking car too, but just the Type S exclusive details really makes this stand out. All right, so let's talk about these Type S exclusive details. Obviously, you got the exclusive grille design, which lets in more air, helps with cooling as well. That leads up to that functional heat extractor there in the hood. And down below, you got these massive air intakes, the opening for the front mount intercooler, things like the Type S badge, the Integra and the front fascia, which you do get in the A-Spec, but here it just kind of really stands out next to that Type S badge. All right, let us know what you guys think of the exterior design. For me, I love it, obviously. It just is very aggressive, and you get quite a few different upgrades over the Integra A-Spec. Obviously, the wide body design, it's about 3 inches wider, right? Those front fenders really just stand out, you really show the width of the car as well. Of course, you got the chicane, daytime running lamps, jewel eye headlights, so full LED cluster up front. Looks awesome at night, by the way. But let's take a quick walk around the side. You'll get to see, like I said, the changes that I made to my own car. I also went with the dealer installed what they call the copper wheels. The normal wheels are 19-inch wheels with a sharp gray finish, but I went with the copper design. These are, for me, it really matches with the white exterior and red interior combo that I went with. And you've got those massive 4-piston Brembo brakes. For me, it's just this perfect blend of it, kind of aggressive yet sporty appearance. And obviously you're going to see some details here because I did make some styling changes to my car. As I mentioned, all the white surfaces are matte kind of paint protection film. I did, wrap the roof in gloss black as well as the door handles just to kind of mix it up. But I really wanted to go for a true kind of OEM look. I did get the carbon fiber rear decklet spoiler you can see there in the back. But outside of that, the car is pretty stock. I just love the way it looks already. Didn't want to make a lot of changes. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you like the copper wheels? I still have the gray wheels, so I can always revert back, which is nice. But for me, again, I think the copper wheels really set it off, especially the white exterior, red interior combo. Kind of really traditional Honda and Acura color combo there, and that's kind of why I went with it. So let me know down in the comments what you think of the exterior, but let's go ahead and hop inside and talk about some of the interior as well. All right, we're inside the 2024 Acura Integra Type S. Now, obviously, as you can see here, I went with the red interior color. You can get ebony, which is black, orchid, which is kind of this off-white. So let me know which one you guys like. Like I said, the red for me was like kind of the most sporty design, and so that's why I chose that. I did get some accessories in here, pretty minor stuff. We can point them out. Obviously, one of the big things is the steering wheel. So you might notice that the steering wheel itself is Alcantara, and it does have like red contrast stitching. I love it. It feels great. I actually don't drive this car every day, so I know some people are worried about that because they're like, oh, is it going to get dirty or ratty over time? But I still have the standard wheel, which is a leather wrap with perforation. Feels really good in your hand too, but for me, this just adds another level of, like I said, that kind of sport car feel to it. Outside of that, everything else is pretty much stock. I kept the stock shift knob as well. There is a titanium shift knob option, but For me, I know sometimes that can get a little hot in the summer months. So I kept the standard knob, which gives you kind of a perforated leather wrap with contrast stitching. With the Type S, you do get some nice little touch points. You do get like Type S, kind of embossed down here in the shifter boot. You also get that suede shift boot, and you do get that interior color matched on the dash there to red or black or white, depending on which color combo you go with. But for me, again, I really enjoy this car because it's a great blend of like performance, sportiness, and also just like lots of like great comfort and features. So there are heated seats up front. You did get power driver seat, 12-way. Again, these aren't the crazy bucket seats that are in the Civic Type R, which I really enjoyed. They're great to drive. I mean, you can daily with them. They're just really aggressive, right? Like I said in the other video with the Type R, it's about really getting in and out of those seats. Kind of once you're in, but admittedly, it is a bit much every day. So for me, these are the great, kind of daily driving setup. It gives you a lot of comfort. They hold you in. Again, not nearly as aggressive as Type R, but let us know if that's what you actually want in this car. For me, I think that would kind of change the character a bit. Type R is kind of set up to do that kind of track duty, and that's why they have those bucket seats. So for me, it would be a bit much every day, and I like what they have in here. So there are some nice touch points. You get the Type S at the bottom of the steering wheel. You do get pedals, aluminum pedals down below. I actually had a friend, make a specific dead pedal for this car, and it says Integra Type S, and so I put that in my car. I think that was a nice little touch. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. But other than that, this car has some really good features and tech. It's got a 10.2-inch digital instrument cluster right there in front of the driver, the 9-inch color touchscreen there in the center. It is, has good connectivity, wireless CarPlay, Android Auto. There is a charging pad down below there in front of the shifter, as well as USB-A and C for charging. So there's good connectivity. There's physical buttons for things like the HVAC and the volume knob, so that's really nice to live with every day. And then, yeah, for me, the 16-speaker ELS 3D surround system in this car is kind of just what makes the driving experience, because there's nothing better than being able to blast up your favorite road with your tunes and just have it sound so good. So again, we talked about that in the Civic Type R review. The 12-speaker Bose system is good, definitely good, but this ELS kind of raises the bar and really just, I mean, I would almost consider that alone, because it just makes such a change to the whole driving experience. So with that, let's take a look at the front seats. Right up front, you got those seats that I talked about. They do say Type S in the headrest, and they do have this Alcantara surface down the center of the seats. A nice little touch is the red contrast stitching. Like I said, I did get some dealer installed accessories, so I'll point those out. I got the Type S floor mat, so it's like a thicker carpet. It does have an actual kind of chrome Type S logo on there. And I did get these Type S illumination side sills. I think those are really nice at night. Normally they come with an aluminum finish that are also really nice and say Type S, but this just kind of takes it up. Here's the rear of the Integra Type S. You will notice that it is a 4-seater vehicle, meaning that center seat that you normally get in the A-Spec is gone here. So there's no center headrest nor a pull-down armrest. You just get these 2 cup holders down below. Other than that, like I said, the red, you do get that material here in the rear of the seats, where again, in the Civic Type R, it is all black, no matter what exterior color or what interior color you go with. The front seats in the Type R are always red. So again, choosing the Integra Type S just gives you a little bit more choice if that's what you're into. I really like the red, as I mentioned before. You can see the upgraded floor mats as well as that illuminated side sill, even in the rear. So I really like that it's in the rear as well. So all 4 doors, when you open them up, that lights up at night. So again, a really, really nice touch point. Other than that, again, there's no HVAC, there's no connectivity in the back. Let us know if that's a deal breaker for you. But I think that wraps it up for the interior. So let's go ahead and check out the hatch and see how much cargo capacity this thing has. All right, here we go. We have the hatch open on the Integra Type S. It's the same amount of space, the same kind of layout that you get in the Integra A-Spec. Again, like I said, I had some dealer accessories installed. So I have this Type S trunk mat, as well as the seat back protectors. Outside of that, everything else is stock. You'll notice that there's those speakers there and the pillars. You do get lights, which is nice, you know, if it's dark out. But also what comes standard is this little cargo net, which is nice just to throw things in there. And then, like I said, you get this standard ELS Studio 3D audio system. So here you got this huge subwoofer in the back. And again, this for a stock system, I think it's really, really good. The seats are 60/40, you know, folding, so you can fold those down. They almost go flat in this car, which is kind of nice, but I mean, there's so much space back here, kind of like what I was showing with the Civic Type R. These hot hatches today, they just give you so much versatility, usability. You got roughly 24, 25 cubic feet of space in the rear, so it's plenty for a road trip. You could, you know, again, if you fold it down, especially, I've seen people put a full set of tires in the back. I've seen people take the front wheel off their bike and put it in the car. So there's a lot of versatility here. So let us know if that impacts your decision when buying a car like this. But it is nice to kind of get the best of all worlds, where you have something that's really fun and sporty, but something that's actually usable as well. So with that, this is the engine. You can see there's an exclusive engine cover for Type S, as well as this Type S, you know, kind of embossed into this, you know, manifold piece here. You can see the turbo right there. So again, this is the 2-liter turbocharged VTEC turbocharged engine, 4-cylinder, 320 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque, made it exclusively to a 6-speed manual transmission. So obviously it shares a lot of the components with the Civic Type R, but again, the engine tuning and things like that are exclusive for Type S, so it definitely gives its own character, and the cars really drive pretty different. You'll also notice here this functional air intake. Like I said, that comes from that front grille, as well as that heat extractor. So again, you can see it is functional, actually does feed in through the bonnet of the car. All right, so with that, there's no better way to get a feeling for this engine and see how it revs out. So let's go ahead and take this thing for a drive. All right, here we are inside the Integra Type S, and you might have heard some of those kind of chimes and things going on there. So really, you got some cool graphics that show up in the 10.2-inch digital instrument cluster. Even says Type S there, so that looks really nice, nice touch point. So with that, we'll go ahead and turn it on. So of course, clutch in, push the start button. Alrighty, sounds good already. So admittedly, when the car starts up, it's in sport mode. So that's the default driving mode for Integra Type S, but there are some others. So down here, you have a little toggle switch. And so if you pull that back, you go into comfort. That kind of changes the colors of the gauges, gives you this blue ring, shows you some graphics over here on the 9-inch color touchscreen. Comfort, again, really light steering, suspension, easy on the throttle and the exhaust sound, but turn that up to sport. You get the white gauges. It gets a little bit heavier steering, you know, kind of firms up the suspension, but not too harsh. And again, there you really start to feel the throttle response, and the rev match actually gets a lot better. Then you turn it all the way up to Sport Plus, and now you're talking, because you've got some cool images here in the instrument cluster. You've got yellow needles now, you've got the red outlines to the gauges. And again, this is like kind of full max settings, so you'll notice the most aggressive you know, suspension setting. But even with Sport Plus, it's not overly harsh like you might have saw in the Civic Type R review. And again, it's great because you can change and customize things. We'll get to that in a sec. But Sport Plus in this car is awesome, because I feel like you could drive with it with all the harshest settings and it not tire you out or not get too harsh. So let's look at individual mode. That's a button down here. Admittedly, you can go here and hit a button that says customize on the screen, or you can just push and hold to adjust your settings. There's 4 inside. You've got engine, steering, suspension, and your gauge. My setting is this. I've got Sport Plus for the engine, I've got Sport for the steering, and suspension is set to comfort while the gauges are in Sport Plus. For me, this is probably like the best like daily driver setup. Tell us down in the comments below, you know, if you own one of these cars or even a CTR, what are your individual settings? For me, I really like what we got here, because this way, again, I'm not breaking my back with the suspension, and at the same time, I also get those, like, you know, pops and crackles and, like, you know, really good sound from the engine notes. So for me, that is an awesome, awesome setting. Also, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do the same exact switchback and drive route that we did in the Civic Type R. So it should be very much a apples to apples comparison. So with that, we're going to go ahead and hit the roads here. So I'm taking off and I'm in my individual mode, but let me dial it back for 1 second. So in comfort, again, I don't know how well the sound is coming through, but it's pretty muted, right? And this for me is funny because the Integra Type S really has this kind of Jekyll and Hyde kind of personality where I feel like in comfort mode, you would think you're driving a regular Integra A-Spec. And that's no ding on the A-Spec because it's a great car, but it just kind of shows this dual personality because admittedly, this is like super quiet, it's comfortable, the ride isn't harsh, you know, steering is pretty light, but just with a couple clicks of the button, going up to Sport Plus, all of a sudden the car feels like the Civic Type R. It's raw, it's visceral, the exhaust kicks in, the steering, suspension. So we're coming up to these switchbacks, so let's have a little fun here and hopefully you can hear some of the exhaust and things like that. So, I mean, admittedly, these are some crazy turns here. I mean, pretty much full 90-degree turns, and as we power up, it's just so much fun and it's fast. Holy moly. You know, because honestly, the mid-range torque on this and even the Civic Type R is just, it shoots you out of these corners, right? Like, there's all kinds of faster cars and there might be all-wheel drive, this and that, but on these types of roads, it does not matter. You do not miss it, and this feels so good. And just like the Civic Type R, I mean, the levels of mechanical grip that these cars have with those crazy wide 265 width tires and this, you know, the chassis and the suspension and the settings is just, it literally is, it's basically perfect. I mean, you have to spend a lot more money to get something that can keep up with these cars, especially on these roads. And honestly, if you do get a car that's way more expensive and probably faster, the problem with it is, like, can you really extract it? Can you really have fun with it on a back road like this or the Civic Type R? I might say no. I mean, this is about as good as it gets. And like I said, here at Sport Plus, I mean, it feels like the Type R in the best of ways. But at the same time, if you check out that other video, you might have saw that I was kind of like bouncing up and down a little bit. It's, you know, that's the one thing about Civic Type R is that it's a very kind of jarring experience, even in some of its softer drive mode settings, where here, I've been in Sport Plus this whole time, and, you know, I haven't been really moving around. Now, the seats, because that was a big talking point in the Civic Type R review, is, yeah, those seats are awesome, and they firmly hold you in, and admittedly, they're going to be better than what the seats I'm sitting in here are for that type of really aggressive driving. But just now, it wasn't like I was being flung around, or I, you know, didn't have the confidence. For me, that's what it's about when you're driving is, you know, are you confident? Are you able to drive fast? And you absolutely are in this car too. So I don't think that these seats take away from the driving experience, but tell us again down in the comments what you guys think. Would you actually swap in the Civic Type R seats into this car? I've heard some people talk about that, so let me know down below in the comments what you think. But here, just talking about this car, and again, the drive. So the shifter, the clutch, the feel is perfect. I would say the only brand and only car that rivals this is from Porsche. So I'm giving them credit. Shout out to the P cars. I mean, that is probably the only thing that's this close. And honestly, depending on the model, this might be better. It might be better. It's that good. And the rev nudge system is awesome too. You can go in and turn it off, and I know there might be some people that do that, but honestly, leaving it on, especially on these types of roads, it just, again, it makes it more fun. It's visceral, and you just, it's so fast, and you get the awesome exhaust sound with it too. So let's talk about that, right? Because Integra Type S, that's one of the things that really makes this car stand out. Again, Civic Type R is great, and it even sounded great on these back-end roads, and, you know, with the LED lights and all the action, it felt like you were in a race car. But admittedly, I wish there was a little bit more sound in that. Integra Type S pretty much solves that problem. And again, I don't know what's coming through the video, but the pops and bangs are real, and they are loud. And admittedly, inside the car, it doesn't sound that loud. I mean, it does, but when you roll down the windows, even for a sec, you get to see how loud they are for everyone outside, and why people are probably turning their heads when you're driving by in this car, because at some point, these pops and bangs, I was driving past a wall and it ricocheted off and it sounded like a gunshot. I mean, that's how loud some of these can actually get. So it's really, really fun. It adds to the experience, and the fact that you can basically turn them off, right, by driving into the other drive modes, just again, it creates that dual personality that really makes Integra Type S special. So anyway, if you're looking at both cars, if you're looking at Integra Type S, DE5, if you're looking at, you know, CTR, FL5, I mean, they're both awesome cars. I've said it in my other videos, I'll say it again here, I don't think that necessarily one car is better than the other, even despite the price point on the, you know, Integra Type S, because this car is more expensive than the Civic Type R. I think it just comes down to what you want. And ultimately, if you're shopping either one of these cars, the delta in price is, you know, let's call it $6 grand, a little bit more. I mean, that's not a deal breaker for someone that can actually afford these cars. So, you know, buy what you want, buy what you can afford, but I don't think you can go wrong either way. And depending on what you want, that's going to make your choice. Clearly, I've made mine, but let us know down in the comments below, which one are you going with? Are you going DE5 or FL5? Let us know. And again, thanks for watching us. And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check out the drive we did with the Civic Type R, as well as the kind of walk around comparison between two cars, and let us know which one you're going with. Thanks again for joining us. Click the bell to subscribe, and we'll see you at the next episode.